Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend of the channel, and content creator for the amazing course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, Mr. Todd Baldwin. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. So, hey, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is, because again, we are just different generations, right? You're 29 and I'm a lot older than that. My daughter is older than you, for just, for giggles, which makes me feel really old. Thank you.
I hope she owns some real estate. Did she take after her dad, own some real estate?
She has a place in New York. Yes, she does.
Good.
I want to talk about minimum wage, and I want to talk about inflation, and I want to talk about free money and all of these things together. And to do that, I kind of want to simplify the economy, right? I think sometimes, all right, first and foremost, the US, let alone world economy, is very, very complex. I have 6 years of advanced education, 4 of which was focused on economics. And it takes a lot to kind of tie it all together. So I'm going to try to simplify, and I would argue oversimplify the economy with a very simple picture. You ready to go? So when you think about an economy, or actually, where is that? So there's this square box or rectangle.
Yep. Stuff.
That's stuff. That's services. That's phones. That's just, the economy has a fixed unit of production, right? The thing in the middle. And then the dollar signs around it, that's people, right? Now, this you could think of as people producing this stuff, people getting paid money, right? That's kind of how all of this works. And then when you are paid money because you produce that, you can buy this thing over here, right? It's kind of, you can pay for rent, food, gas, all of these things, right? Very, very simple picture. And what people don't realize is, so a lot of people are calling for raise the minimum wage, right? Snap a finger. You were worth $8, now you're worth 15. And people just, when you hear that, it's just like, yeah, of course I'm worth 15. Yeah, I mean, everybody's worth 15. Nobody, living wage, right? All this stuff you hear. And I don't want to get in that argument. Fine. As far as I'm concerned, pay everybody $50 an hour, right? I don't think I think everybody that works full-time in America should make 100 grand a year. $50 an hour. Wow. And I'm doing that because hopefully you can see what happens. So if everybody out there that works full-time makes 50, not 15, not 8, what happens? First and foremost, you have not produced more stuff. You just snapped your fingers. You were worth 8, now you're worth 50. This box of stuff hasn't changed. All you've done is you've put more dollars outside. So 3 things happen. 1, you pay more taxes. The current tax system is progressive. If you make more money, you pay more taxes. And for some of you, you will pay taxes for the first time. Okay, well, hey, that's not a bad thing, Todd. I mean, I would love for the national debt to go away. So pay everybody $50. Maybe then, I think the national debt would go away. 2, you could save the difference. You could. You lived on 8, you lived on 12, now you make 50. You could save the $30 delta. Or B, you and I, or C, you and I both know nobody's going to do that. They are going to go spend more. They're going to go buy more stuff. They are going to upgrade their car. They're going to upgrade their food. They're going to upgrade their wardrobe. They're going to do all of these things. And more people are going to compete for the fixed number of goods. So all you get, folks, is inflation. Why is there inflation today? Because the fixed goods didn't change, and we pumped $8 trillion of free money into the system. The inflation we are feeling today was made 2 years ago when we gave out money, stimulus checks, unemployment bonus, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. We are where we are today because of all the free money. And this argument of 8 to 15 or 15 to 50 It's all the same thing. Pay everybody $50. Just realize you're going to get a mountain of inflation. What do you think of all that ramble?
Yeah, I think it's a very good diagram. It makes a lot of sense. And I think that, yeah, nothing you said was untrue. And I think what I was thinking about earlier is that we all have equal value as human beings. You have equal value as me, and I have equal value as a janitor or a CEO, as human beings, right? But we don't have the same value in the marketplace. And certain jobs pay what they do because that's what the market has determined their worth. And so, as an example, when I was 15 years old, I got a job as a dishwasher at a small restaurant. And the pay they were paying me was, I believe, $8.30 an hour or something like that. Now, today I make way more than that, but my intrinsic value as a human being has not increased.
No,
I'm not a better person. And if I stopped doing what I'm doing today and I went back and became a dishwasher, well, then again, that job is worth $8.30 an hour. I think actually with inflation and stuff, it might have been up to $9.17 an hour, whatever. But yeah, and understanding what you're really good at, I think, and then the value that labor produces in the marketplace is important. And once you understand that, you probably won't demand that McDonald's pays you $50 an hour. And another quick example that I'll give is I was considering going back to the corporate world. I was actually having this talk with my wife that I wonder if it makes sense to go get a job again in the corporate world, B2B sales, all that stuff. So I started down that rabbit hole. And, basically I could go make, let's say, a couple $100,000 working in the corporate sphere, which I can do because I'm very blessed and I've done it before. And they were talking to me about, oh, well, here, here's your resume and you don't actually have a degree and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And we'll, and I was basically trying to, I would have to prove myself to them to get a job to make a couple $100,000 a year. And yet running my own business, doing real estate stuff, I make a couple $100,000 a month. So it's like, why am I going back to this corporate job? I don't need it. I don't want it. And it's less money. But for them, it's like, that this is what the job is worth. And we want the best person for the possible job. And it might be beneath me. Right. But it doesn't mean that I should force them to pay me more just because I'm worth more doing something else.
Yeah. There's a lot in there, right? One of the things, so a couple of things. My first job, again, just to talk about it, paid $3.15 an hour. So again, a little bit older. The other thing that strikes me in this minimum wage discussion is, when did minimum wage become the goal?
That's wild to me. Yeah.
I hear and read a lot about this and that. It feels like minimum wage is the goal for some people. All I want to make is minimum wage.
Yeah.
That just feels weird to me, right? Again, minimum wage, first time job. I was 13 years old. I got what I got. I had no experience. I proved I was hustling, blah, blah, blah. I remember I got like a quarter raise because I busted my butt like 6 months later or whatever it was. Minimum wage shouldn't be the goal. And frankly, if you've been at a job for more than a year and you're still making a minimum wage, go get a new job, right? I was a hiring manager for a long time. I lived through the .com era where it was very much like today, where you couldn't pay people to show up. I've been here before, but it will change. But right now, if you're an employee and you have any experience at all, if you want to make more money, I promise you, go to a competitor. You'll make more money. Right?
Yeah.
As somebody who gave out raises for the last 12 years of his career, I was capped at like 5 or 6% for the best of the best. You quit, you go to your competitor, you might make 10, 15, 20%.
No question, dude. So there's this burger joint in Seattle called Dick's Burgers. And there's a big sign posted in the window. Their starting pay there is $20 an hour. There's a $1,200 sign-on bonus. They have free healthcare and a 401k match. And it's like, that's a fast food restaurant. And they're choosing to pay that, not because the government's forcing them, because they're choosing to. And yeah, anyone who makes, 8 or 15 or whatever, go apply at Dick's Burgers. Because it's like, man, it's so much more. But yeah, I agree with you. Minimum wage has become the goal now because people are like, man, if it was just raised to 15, if it was just raised to 20, I could do X, Y, Z. And it's like, man, my goal was never to make or to stay at minimum wage. And similar to you, my very first job was $3 an hour. And then I got a dishwasher job at like 8 or whatever. And then I started a landscaping business, went out on my own, started a landscaping company, and I immediately doubled my money or doubled my rate because I was making $15 an hour as a 16-year-old in high school.
Yeah.
And yeah, today it seems that minimum wage is like the goal, and people won't just stay at minimum wage for their entire career.
Yeah.
And instead of self-improvement or self-development, their goal is just to make the government raise the minimum wage. And that's just not my DNA. I want to better myself so I can go command more money.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know which states have low minimum wage, but let me just tell you right now, if you're in a state where minimum wage today is say $8 and snap your fingers, tomorrow it's 15, it really won't impact where I live, the Silicon Valley, because it's the minimum wage is higher here, right? So 15 in California, at least much of California won't impact. But if you're in a state where minimum wage is 8 and tomorrow it's 15, here's the deal. Your rent is going to explode higher. Your food costs are going to go up. Basically, everything you're feeling now is going to go on steroids, except it'll be localized because there'll be some areas, New York City, Miami, whatever, that's not impacted because they already have to pay those rates. If you're in a state that makes $8 an hour and tomorrow it's 15, your real estate prices are going to explode higher. Your rent's going to explode higher. And it's just this picture. If everybody, I'm just going to pick on Mississippi. I have no idea what Mississippi's unemployment. I'm guessing. If Mississippi goes from 8 to 15, everybody's going to make more money, or the people at minimum wage will make more money. The stuff hasn't changed. Rent's going to go up. Housing prices are double. In fact, if I was an investor and I knew the federal minimum wage was going to change for states that are at $8, it would make logical sense to go buy every single house you could, because you will get huge inflation over the next 2, 3, 4 years. It's just how the system works.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is. But nobody wants to have that conversation, or the people that are. Yeah.
Again, if you want to make I would love it. Right. You tell me federal minimum wage is going to 15. Again, I'm just going to pick on Mississippi. I have no idea what it is. So January 1st, 2023, Mississippi's minimum wage goes to $15 an hour, or 50, or pick a number. The idea would be to go buy every single family home you could now, sit on it for 2 or 3 years, and quadruple your money. That's just how the system works.
I think the problem is the folks, let's say the politicians, or even the people to you, the civilians who are saying raise the minimum wage, are probably also the same people that say nobody should be allowed to own more than one home.
I've seen that.
Right. So, but that's the thing. If we lived in a perfect world, perfect, whatever their version of utopia is, sure, then raising it to whatever wouldn't be a problem. Just like, and again, we don't need to make this a political video, but like, we talked about Russia in the first video. And we talked about how Ukrainian civilians are taking up arms to go fight the Russian military. Can you imagine if the leader of Russia was Beto O'Rourke, who said, we're going to take all your guns away to the civilians in America, right? The Democratic presidential candidate. If he did that and took all the Ukrainians' guns away and they weren't able to defend themselves, well, then Russia just goes and has a freaking heyday. And so it's sort of like that, like in a perfect world, sure, get rid of the guns. Nobody is greedy. Nobody takes more than their fair share or whatever. But that's not the world we live in. And in the world we live in, we have to be realistic. And I think that's the difference is people like us, we look at the way the world is, where people who want to raise the minimum wage to $100 an hour look at the way they think the world ought to be.
Right.
And we're like, hey, that's great, but that's not actually how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Well, you have a wonderful YouTube channel. You're doing amazing stuff, and you're going to be a new father. So you got all kinds of great stuff going on. Where can people find you?
Yes, if you want to contact me, my Instagram is @Todd J. Baldwin, and my YouTube channel is just Todd Baldwin.
Thanks, buddy.